Good afternoon. This is Blockspeak calling from the Overland Bunker in the UK. This is our third episode of Blockspeak, and we have our greatest, infamous, wonderful John Mcafee here, somewhere in the world, and no one knows why. He won't tell us either. How are you going, John?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm a little bored from 3 weeks of lockdown.
Oh, really?
But other than that, I'm fine. And Janice is too. We're just waiting it out.
Send my best to Janice as well. She's a wonderful woman.
She is indeed.
3 weeks. Well,
Janice,
I'm
Janice, you have another admirer.
I imagine she's got hundreds of thousands. So the world is a strange place at the moment. Very, very strange. You, of all people, are probably able to handle the new normal more than anybody else. But I'm just interested in what you think about what's going on in the US and just people being given money, for God's sake.
Yeah. As I understand it, $3,000 per person, and you don't have to do anything for it except open the envelope and cash the check, and then bail out for businesses and things that are going under. So I'm thinking, gosh, is it that simple, really? I don't understand why I spent most of my life working, 8 to 5. My entire life, with a little bit of vacation here and there, when all I had to do was sit at home and you will send me checks. I mean, that's kind of a hard choice if you think about it. I mean, depending on how large your home is, right? Who you're in quarantine with, right? A rock being in quarantine with a rock band, for example. Yeah, that would be beneficial. So, no. So I had no idea, but I do think in America that you folks should vote for those politicians who agree that work is nonsense. Simply stay home. We will send you money. There you have it.
So this is basically universal basic income kind of accelerated, right? This is all the stories.
It's insane. I'm sorry.
You should see a doctor. You should see a doctor about that, John.
Listen, that cough, and then by the way, I don't give a shit about coronavirus. I'm 74. I'm in the highest risk class, and I'm telling you, I can add and subtract, multiply and divide, and the numbers that I am seeing are you people insane?
Yeah.
I mean, well, 50,000 people killed. A bit less by this thing since it's been around. In that same period of time, 630,000 people were killed by the flu every year. Yeah. Between 500,000 and 1 million people die from the flu. Yeah. Moving on up the ladder, you've got diarrhea, which is caused by all kinds of pathogens, right? Kills. In the same period, 1.1 million. And hunger, starvation killed 6 million in the same period of time. I'm sorry. Give me the fucking virus now. Get it over with so I can show you people what nonsense. Yes, people die from it. Most of the elderly who are already dying from kidney failure or heart disease. Jesus, people. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No. So you think it's just crazy hype?
Yes, media hype. Who is benefiting from this more than anybody? The goddamn media. They're the only business that's still 100% in business. Think about it. Think about it, people. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Oh my God, a tragedy and the world is collapsing except for one oligarchical group of capitalists called the media. Good God, wake up, folks. I'm sorry?
Interesting. One of the things that I'm kind of concerned about is, and someone that you're somebody that knows this from the bottom, right, is privacy. And it seems that we're being given a choice now, health or privacy. you know, and most people will take health, right? You know, so do you think that we are fucked up now when it comes to privacy? We're giving away all our data. We're going to have a little number on our arms or a bracelet saying, as you just said, that you're immune. You can do what the hell you like. You can walk around anywhere. Give me a kind of idea of the future here, because it doesn't really make me happy.
Well, you need to divide this up into two pieces. Privacy, or privacy, as we say in America, is one thing. And we haven't had any of that for 5 years. That's gone. If you think you have any at all, know that your television is watching you while you're watching it. Alexa is listening to every sound in the goddamn room, not just your voice. Please, people, you've got no privacy, and you carry with you smartphones. Janice and I do not have them, but many, many less thinking people about privacy carry a spy device with them everywhere. Their phones. We can't. I'll never be able to have a phone again.
Yeah, no, sure.
Well, if I did, the instant I had it, I'd be arrested, people.
Yeah.
End of story. So, anyway, I'm sorry if you're getting me off on a rant.
No, well, that's all right, John, because I like your rants, bro. You know what I mean? The last time I saw you... Last time I saw you was on a yacht just off Malta, I think. And you were well, we won't say where, you were off to an island somewhere. And my friend Danish, who was a guest last week, he stayed with you for 10 days. And he said that was one of the weirdest experiences of his life.
What, the cruise?
No, he came to
Malta.
Island. Yeah.
Malta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danish, you know, the mate of Roger Veer, you know, the guy that does all his work.
Oh, really? Now, which island did he go to?
It was your island, I think, wasn't it? Where you were living just somewhere about a year and a half ago. He came over and stayed with you.
What was his name?
Danish Chowdhury, beard, Indian guy. Was working with Skycoin at the time.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, him.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it probably was a weird experience for him.
Absolutely.
We're living on a yacht, not on the island. On the yacht, the island was one we were just parked at.
I see.
Pardon?
I see. Last week on this show, he said that he thought the Bitcoin price was going to go up to $25,000. Now, I know that you didn't cut your cock off like you said you were going to do. I think the world's happy about that. It's still there, right?
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Please, can we all get real for a second? Keep in mind, satire is one of my favorite means of communication. And anything with a joke, by the way, is one of my means. And that same week that I said that I was in a whale fucking club. And that I also was captured by cannibals and was turned into a cannibal. I ate human flesh. Please God. None of those stories could be believable, including Bitcoin. Do you realize when I made that statement, it was to raise a flag for the world about these goddamn Bitcoin maximalists going, Bitcoin is the only coin. Oh, they're fucking crap. Bitcoin is fucking crap, and anybody with a brain knows it. Now, those who saw the humor in it were laughing. Oddly enough, some people are like, oh my God, it's for real. I'm thinking, no, nobody in their right fucking mind could believe $1 million, even if you didn't know that Bitcoin was total fucking crap. Because if it's $1 million, if you can multiply, why don't you multiply that times 21 million, and you'll get a number greater than the gross national product of entire continent of North America. Yeah. Duh, people. No, it's a goddamn joke. It was like, oh yeah, because the maximum is going, Bitcoin's going to get 20,000. Bitcoin's going to get to 15,000. Bitcoin, yeah, see, Bitcoin is, I'm going, Jesus God, you idiots. So I go, oh no, it's going to go to $1 million. No better way to make fun of these idiots. But then people believed it. Anyway, sir, let's move on.
Let's move on. So So, where are you on crypto at the moment? What do you think? I mean, what's your like latest view on the? Can I just I posit something here? Is that with money going down and becoming worthless because of the printing of money, and this huge amount of market cap in Bitcoin, could you see something where this amount of money in Bitcoin that's just basically speculation being used more often? There'll be more places likely to accept it.
See, let's stop using the word Bitcoin. That annoys me so much. It's one of 5,000 coins out there now. Just because people trade this the most does not mean that there's any value to it. The value's in the utility coins, privacy coins like Monero, Apollo. Um, I'm coming out with my own called Ghost. It's a proof of stake. It's on its own blockchain, a proof of stake algorithm. But on any of them, who gives a shit? The privacy coins will win. Yeah. Unless you want the entire world to always know exactly how much money you have.
Yeah.
And where it's going.
Tell us more. Tell us more about Ghost, John. I hadn't heard about this.
No, this is the first public statement I've made, and my team will probably beat the shit out of me for saying something. I don't know why I did. I don't know why I was angry about the use of Bitcoin as cryptocurrency. Fuck Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency. Can we all agree that's the only word to use? Because then it still includes Bitcoin if you idiots want to use it. No, we have coins that give you privacy, that allow smart contracts so that no one ever has to trust anyone ever again. Isn't that a wonderful thing? We have distributed applications that cannot be shut down. Well, God damn it. Isn't this fantastic?
So tell me more about Ghost. What is it? What actually is it? Is it a utility coin? What is it?
No, it's a privacy coin. That's all. It's a coin on its own blockchain. We'll be releasing all the code, everything, public domain, everything we've done. We're giving into the public domain, so that others can use that same technology.
Yeah.
So I can't give you details, obviously, because they will shoot me. Other than it is a privacy coin and a proof of stake.
Yeah. Well, John, to be fair,
rather than a proof of work. Like
yes, of course. To be fair, John, I spent some time with your security detail. I don't think anyone's going to shoot you with them around. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course not. They may shoot me. I don't know.
Does this lockdown situation create extra problems for your lifestyle at the moment? Is it something that's driving you crazy? Or
oh hell no! Listen, we have Janice and I, ever since we got out of jail in the Dominican Republic 8-9 months ago.
Yeah.
We've had to keep an extremely low profile.
Yeah.
We can't let anybody know where we are.
Yeah.
Nothing. We can't see people. People can't come to visit us. Our closest family does not know where we are. No one. And the I don't know. Hasn't made much difference to us.
No. I remember the great story you told me in Malta about when you managed to get out of Belize and went to Guatemala, and you told me that you were hiding in plain sight near the police station, and you were waiting for rain. Do you remember that one?
Of course.
Would you mind sharing that story, because it's one of the best ones I've ever heard?
Really?
Yeah,
we got a better one in the Dominican Republic just 7 months ago, but I'll tell this one. So now, it'd been maybe a month. I'd been on the run in Belize, and had finally settled in the attic apartment of a Chinese businessman right next to the Queen Street police station in Belize, where because we had to go out. So I would go out. I did, cut my hair, pretended to be an old man, a much older man. I am an old man, a much older man, pretending to be a much younger man, but still walking like a cripple. Right? So, and plus I'm right there next to the police station. No one's out there. Is he here? Is he here? Because they're all looking for me. They all have my photograph. So Samantha and I would go out and shop. In any case, so that was a miserable fucking month. I want to tell you now. I mean, not because of being afraid or anything, just the goddamn boredom. That was serious fucking boredom there. In any case, I'd been contacted because I was still accessing the internet right next to the police station. And I had my blog with literally millions at that time of eyeballs looking at it. And I would post updates daily about what I was doing. But in any case, so the press, many of the press that had wanted to come and follow me and document it. I'm going, well, that's fucking insane. Right? I'm in hiding, and suddenly NBC shows up and is surrounding a fucking house, please, people. That didn't happen. However, I did agree that with Vice magazine, that's the only one I agreed with. Vice magazine, Rocco Castoro, and Robert King, the world famous war photographer, that if I gave them 4 hours notice and they could show up within 4 hours, then they could accompany me the rest of the way, because I had everything set up for one thing: rain. Why? Because all the roads in the country had roadblocks. Okay, every few miles, with my photograph, and they, so I could not leave the fucking country by road, and no other way, unless I wanted to walk 500 miles through the densest jungle on the planet. I had to figure a way. In any case, so what I knew was this: in Belize, where police officers get paid $2 a day, when it rains, they do not stand outside and check for anything whatsoever. Why? Well, number one, what are the chances that it's going to be us that just because we're hiding in our car from the rain and not checking is going to let him through? None. Doesn't make any difference. Never in those 5 years I had lived back there had I seen on a rainy day a police officer standing outside on any road anywhere. So I knew I could escape on a rainy day, but I had to make sure it was really raining. So I got a day where there's, according to all of the world's weather graphs and prognostications, what have you, would be 100% chance of huge showers in the eastern half of Belize. What's the half I need to get out of Dodge in, right? So, the day before, I arranged through my contacts to have a van come and pick me up. And these are trusted comrades of mine. A tourist van with tourists on the side, with a real tourist driver who happened to be a good friend of mine. And I had arranged with Amy, one of my ex-girlfriends there, who I had paired with another American after she tried to kill me the third time, a guy named Keith, and arranged for them to fly over from San Pedro. It's a 15-minute flight. And anyway, I had all of this arranged that Samantha and myself, and Samantha is Mexican, right? I'm an old white man. It's very common for people, older men visiting Central America to, hire a tour guide who's a beautiful woman who also keeps you companionship. In any case, it's me and Sam, Amy and Keith. Amy looked white. Keith was white. and two people from Vice magazine, which we had scooped up at the airport as the rain started and headed our ass south. So we've got we've got 6 obvious tourists in a tourist van. And we have photographs from the window of the van. One of them, a brown Jeep, and you could see my photo on the fucking dashboard. And 4 officers huddled inside the car, just looking at us as we passed.
No way.
And so that's how I got out of police. Oh, well, we had also arranged with a fishing boat in the town of Dangriga, the southernmost town of Belize, to take us out to sea, do a half circle, and come in Livingston, Guatemala. And then I was free, but only for 4 days.
Only for 4 days. But listen,
that's when I got arrested 4 days later in Guatemala City. All right. In a big, huge affair, 50 or more Interpol officers surrounding a hotel, thousands of news cameras everywhere. It was a big deal. Well, in South America, it was a big deal. So
yeah. So John, it begs the question: what's the Dominican Republic story? The one that I haven't heard.
Okay, that's too long, really. Janice? Janice?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know where you were. Yeah, I'd have to tell it with Janice because Janice was with me. And if I'm telling it, she wants her input, so she could sit here next to me. But it's a long. He wants to hear the story about Dominican Republic.
Yeah, let's tell it.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you too.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Janice.
Yes, dear.
We're going to have to share the headphones, baby.
Okay.
There we go.
Hello.
Hey, Janice, how you going? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. I'm doing very well, thank you.
No,
Okay.
absolutely intrigued about the story of the Dominican Republic. As far as I know, you were on a boat and there were guns. That's all I know.
Yeah. Okay, so we left
Good. Why don't you do the main story,
okay,
and let me cut in where I go. Yeah, well, that was her attitude, the way I saw the motherfucking thing. How's that?
It's perfect. Okay, so in Cuba, we had been there a few months, I believe, and let's see, what happened that day? Oh, okay, so there were soldiers that were on our boat. John and I had went on a bike ride, and we were on our way back, and we could see the soldiers there. And so when we get there,
this is in Cuba.
This is in Cuba. Yes, this is in Cuba. This is leading up to the Dominican Republic.
Just before we got to the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard how we got kicked out of Cuba, but this is that story. So, when we come to the boat, our security tells us, well, they have some paperwork for you. They want you to show up to this, somewhere. And so on the paper, it just looked like a little, like a little receipt that just said his name and what time to be where. And that was it.
Too much detail. We won't get there until next February. So,
okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
Let me cut this. Let me cut to the Dominican Republic. Let me cut to when they leave. So now, basically, the Cuban government called us in. The soldiers, a general came in and told us that America had requested that they return me to the States unofficially, since there's no official channel. He said, in return for concessions. We said no. However, you are now an embarrassment to us. If you stay, you've got 72 hours to get out of the country. And we're living on a boat. It takes days to prepare those fuckers for sea.
And our captain had left.
Our captain.
We didn't have our captain, and we were trying to.
Captain was 72 hours, and they came by twice a day, going, "Mr. Mcafee, now, are you sure you're going to be out of our country within 54 hours?" I would go, yes.
If I have to swim.
And then finally, the last time, I said, if I have to swim from here to Haiti. We'll be out of your country, so don't worry.
And that happened.
And they wanted us out.
Yeah, they did. Okay, so then we were at sea for 4 days. Yeah.
Yes, we did get out on time.
Yeah,
we had 16 hours to spare. Fucking man, this piece of cake. Anyway.
Yeah. 4 days at sea. So, and it was rough. It was a rough trip. We were hungry. We didn't have enough water. We didn't have enough food because we didn't have the time to prepare. So the dogs were all miserable. We were all miserable. So we finally get to the Dominican Republic. We're all like, yes, we made it. You know, we get to shower and eat some food, drink, you know, chill. And then we see that there's soldiers positioned on the various empty docks. Now, mind you, everything is empty over there. Okay, it looked like they were waiting for us because all of the boats were moved to like the back end of the marina, if you will. Okay, and so where you first initially come in, there's this side area. So there's like at least 30 boats over there. Yeah, and so. You know, but we, you know, whatever. We're just happy to be in the Dominican Republic, so we weren't paying any attention to it. And then when customs didn't come on the boat, you know, again, we're still like, okay, whatever, you know. But then as an hour goes by, and then another hour goes by, and then we see more people arriving.
Yeah, and they're very official, ugly-looking people. Yes. They're people whose faces say, I hope I get to eat a gringo alive today, right? That's the faces, right? Yes. Especially the prosecutor dressed in black. Yes. Okay, black suit, black tie, white shirt.
Yeah, the way they came on the boat too it was just very weird because we had our guns on the table, which is what we always did, unloaded as they should be with the ammo separated. So everything was ready for them to just come in
to declare to customs, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to declare? Yeah, we got a bunch of automatic weapons here. Some countries say, okay, fill this out. You better leave with them.
Yeah.
Right?
With Cuba, it was weird because
Cuba's weird. They took them from us.
Yeah, but you would
and gave them back to us.
They would have been more aggressive about it or more upset that we brought them into the country, but they weren't. They were really chill. And so when the Dominican Republic were like, okay, is this about the guns? But they never told us anything, which is what
they never let us speak to customs. That was the thing throughout this entire fucking process, right? I said, well, here's the legal thing. Why don't you wait till I enter your country to get into your goddamn jurisdiction? Right now, you're on my fucking boat. Mm-hmm. You're in international goddamn waters.
Yeah.
Right? And said, and you know, I should order you off my fucking boat.
They never once asked us for our passport.
Never, nothing.
They did nothing.
Shit,
they
nothing.
Just came on,
no
they
fill
just told us
forms. Nothing. Anyway, net is I knew what's coming. Fuck me, the U.S. got here before us because we always got somewhere months before the United States could finally, like in Cuba, we were there for almost 2 months. In the Bahamas, 3.5 months. And I knew they were coming before they ran us out. Yeah. All right. But they got to Dominican Republic before us. How the flying fuck.
Yeah, because we didn't even know we were going to be going there for sure. That's
so net, they arrested us. Net was, you got to go back to America. Just like Cuba, just like the Bahamas. You got to go back to America. Like, okay, we can't go back because we'll be in prison for this for a long. Well, Janice, they'll probably slap her hand 48 hours in the local lockdown, and that's it. But for me, I'll never see the light of day again.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, I can't let that happen. I go, no, it's too early for that to happen. I have far too much to do. So I managed, and we were told many times that they were specifically to keep me away from legal assistance. I had no phones, had no contact anybody. But listen, I've been locked up so many goddamn times, and you're trying to keep me away from a lawyer?
Yeah, but what happened? What happened was we were supposed to be meeting some people there for business, and so they were there. They got there before us, and so they got to see us. You know, we couldn't talk to them, but they could see that we were being detained, and here's, you know,
so they knew what had happened,
and they arranged for us to get legal counsel.
Well, no, that's what they said. That's garbage. What they did is they sent 2 lawyers over, and they were turned away. But they were talking and being turned away at the very moment that we were being transferred from one segment of our detention to another segment. And the guy goes, Mr. Mcafee, and I go, he's a lawyer. I said, good. You are my lawyer now.
Okay.
Right?
See, I didn't see that.
Remember that? And
Okay.
from that fucking moment, the world changed. Okay. So 4 days later, go ahead.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
so 4 days later, now we're being there. It's a battle of time. So we're being transferred. Didn't know when. It was on a Friday, thank God. Early in the morning that they took us in. Remember, after the night, that
yes, after we spent
area,
another night in jail. See, let me explain my attitude, because he just makes it sound so horrible. Okay, but when we first got there, and everything seemed to be calming down, and they let us eat, then they tried to rush us off to some apartment complex in unmarked cars, the same officers in plain clothes in unmarked cars, to take us somewhere that we didn't even know where we were going. Okay, so I'm like, what are you guys trying to do? Because we're just trying to do it without permission. So I'm like, okay, they're trying to kill us. So yeah, I got a little bit irate. You're damn straight, okay? So then they take us to this last jail, and they got him counting his $100 bills out in front of all of the, the eyeing guards.
Soldiers, only soldiers at 11 o'clock at night under an overhanging streetlight.
Yes. And so I'm like,
on a cardboard box.
Yes, of course I'm thinking the worst. I'm going to be like an episode of Dateline where, you go somewhere and you get murdered and you don't come home, right? This is what I was thinking. So yeah, I lost my shit a little bit. Sorry.
I was thinking only this. All right, if Janice would just calm the fuck down, I would get us through this with no fucking problem and without losing a single $100 bill. Because why? I've been through this shit more before. So I'm sitting there. Janice is losing it. All right. Now, how? When your wife is losing it, and you're in a very tenuous situation anyway, you have managed to convince them psychologically that I'm not to be fucked with. Why? Because the guy said, give us the money. I said, no, give me a fucking receipt. A receipt? That's when they bought the brass out. Now, the brass is a smart man. I don't know, a lieutenant, whoever he fucking was in the Army, okay? So this is it. We're under Army control. This is not civilian detention, people. This is Army fucking detention. Well, I'm not a foreign nation. I'm not a soldier. Nevertheless, doesn't matter. So now, I have convinced them through this simple act of, no, you're not getting jack shit. And I would say, all right, give me my money, give me a fucking receipt. Someone get the boss. Boss comes out, he's dressed. I shake hands with him. And I do my best in my pitiful Spanish. Says, Señor, muchas gracias, pero es mi dinero. No estudios. Necesito recito. Listen, do you understand? It's my money. And you look like a trustworthy person. You really do. But I'm going to have a receipt for you, sir. Well, so he was taken aback for a second, and then he orders someone go into the office and get the papers. That's when he bought the box out. They were just going to take the money to count to make sure I get my receipt for the exact fucking amount, right? So I'm making them count the money. $75,000 in $100 bills takes 5 minutes to count, people, right? Another 5 minutes to verify. So in anything, I've got things under control, and at that point, Janice loses it.
Because they wanted to search my bags. I was just really upset. We were supposed to be going to an airport. We were not supposed to be going to jail again. All right? So I'm like, fuck you. You're not searching my shit. My shit was already I lost. I mean, I wasn't crying. That's not what I mean by losing my shit. No, I was
angry, like I'm going to rip your eyes out.
Yes.
I'm going to rip off your head and shit down your neck if you don't back off, mofo. That was the attitude.
Yeah, that was exactly.
That was it. Now, my major fucking gains for the past 5 minutes have shrunk. Okay. Now, how do I recover? All right. So anyway, they're looking at her momentarily. Then all of them, including the colonel, are looking at me. And so I go, Mujeres. And they all go, right? I mean, I said, women. women, all of them were of marriageable age, and I'm sure they were all married, and they all know about their wives fucking losing. I'm going, so then everybody laughed and went back to counting the money. So Janice, meanwhile, because they said, calm down.
I calmed down. Well, because he told me to calm down. When he said, because he was allowing me to lose my shit a little bit every now and then, and so sometimes I took.
She went over the line, so I said, calm down.
And I
got that.
Yes.
And then everybody laughed. We got back to counting the money. Got my receipt, and we got the money back. Anyway, so now, next day, now this whole time, I've had no contact with my attorneys other than through phone, and only saying what the authorities had told them. Now, the authorities had not told them what I was charged with, nor what their expected actions would be. But I knew they'd have to at some point, or they would violate every fucking law in the country.
Yeah.
So they chose a period of about 4 hours. So the next day, after the counting the money, they gave me my money back. Shook hands with the guy, and we got back in detention bus and went to immigration to get thrown out of the country.
They gave you the money back?
Yes, of course they gave it back.
Yeah.
Dude.
Once we got to an immigration, not at the jail though.
But no, they passed it from the Army to immigration, who gave it to me. Yes. No, I mean, dude, everything in life is attitude. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I used to deal drugs in Central and South America. I can't count the number of times that I've been stopped with $1 million of cocaine in the trunk, and the police stops me, and they go and say, "Senora." I go, "Senora." Okay. Now, in most third world countries, there is no such thing as a police chief of a town or something. No, there's one for the country. Okay, that's called the commissioner, the one most powerful. And in a country where everything is corrupt and life is cheap. And so I go, wait, before you do anything, I am taking these from what the commissioner told me to do. He is a friend of mine. Now, before we get any further, I need all of your names. People, whoa. Now, sometimes you get a tough character that's a little old and more experienced. Go, how do you know the commissioner? Well, first of all, I'm a white man and clearly an American. No, seriously, if you're living in Central America or Mexico, you're white, you're dressed well, you're in a nice car, well, yes, you're a prized friend for all of the upper class. Oh, it's a nice American, rich American, whatever. So, who cares? They'll go, how do you know him? I go, I wouldn't answer the question. I just pull out my phone book, point to the commissioner's name, because if you haven't prepared for this shit in advance, do not play the fucking game. Right?
Absolutely.
Show the commissioner's name. I said, I suggest you call him and ask him himself why I'm his friend. No, knowing that if he did that, his family would be burned alive in front of his eyes before he was burned alive. This is how it's dealt with there. And so in 100% of the cases, I would get, oh, please, sir, we've been offensive, my apologies, and please would you mention to the commissioner how the instant we stopped you, that we could see, whatever they're asking me to say, please tell them. Or just tell the commissioner that we treated you very kindly.
How many times did that type of thing happen? Tens
well, with the commissioner thing, no more than a dozen. Right. But my favorites were, okay, well, it's depending on the situation you're in, okay? Depending on where you are and how smart the people you're dealing with are. Now, sometimes, depending on where you are, if I was stopped in a locale, pardon.
Thank you, Janice. See you, Janice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, finish.
We didn't finish the story,
We
baby.
didn't finish the story.
About me faking the stroke. None of that shit for Dominican Republic. Why are we back in Mexico? Sit down.
I don't know. I thought you were continuing your interview.
No, here.
Sorry.
All right.
So you faked a stroke, John. You pretended to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Okay, let me finish the story. I'll do it quick.
Yeah, okay.
We're in immigration. Now, my lawyers have known nothing, but since we're in, since we are being now talked to by an official in an official capacity, my lawyers are required to be there, even in the Dominican Republic. So they're there. We don't know, neither they nor I know what's up. The guy explains, Mr. Mcafee, we're sending you back to America. We're not going to fine you. We're not going to imprison you for your bringing guns into our country illegally, because I didn't declare them to customs, because they would not allow us to talk to customs. And it doesn't matter. It was all a setup. So, but we're sending you back to America. My lawyers are there. I said, no. I said, I want you to go to the courts now. File a brief with the Supreme Court or whatever is equivalent in the Dominican Republic, whoever you know who to file with, saying that I can't be shipped anywhere until I've had my day in court. Now,
yeah.
We've been in the international news. Everybody knows we were arrested in the Dominican Republic, right? If the Supreme Court says, no, we're not going to let him talk, we don't give a shit. No, can you imagine? They had to say yes. So I knew we'd get a yes immediately. Only from even a clerk, right, had the power to do a stay. So
they hustle off.
So anyway, so they said to me, that's going to take 2 hours. And the immigration guy says, you're leaving immediately. I said, you'll get you 2 hours. So we went outside with the lawyers, and they're not sure what I'm talking about. We go into a room where they're counting the money to give it back to me. Okay, this is where I get my money back before I get thrown out of the country.
Yeah.
And I said, excuse me, I need to talk to Janice. And they're tolling Janice off to the airplane.
Yeah, they were.
So I went to say goodbye to Janice, and I said, don't worry about anything that happens.
Yeah, don't worry about anything. I'm just doing my thing.
I'm doing my thing. Are we clear? So that's because yes. So I went back in front of to the thing where they were counting, and my lawyers were there. And as they counted the next $100 bill, I fell over in convulsions. So
Yeah.
So the lawyers, being smart motherfuckers, right?
So everyone's standing. No, well, they stood around because they, that's their client, so they don't know what's going on. So
they know what's going on.
But they were unsure. So and meanwhile, we're across the hall from each other, and it's glass, so I can see. And so one of the ladies that was working with us, checking us in, she comes over to make sure I'm okay because he's not okay, and I'm trying my best to get a tear to come the fuck out of my eyes because that's my job. I'm his wife. I should be emotional and whatever. Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, but I knew that if I am dying of a stroke or heart attack, who knows what it was happening. They're going to put her on an airplane. Can you imagine now? That's going to look at international news. John Mcafee dies at international airport. Wife was refused.
Okay, that's not true because they did. They still made me leave. So once he came to, and they were able to talk to him, he now doesn't know anybody. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what's happening.
I don't know my name. I don't know people around me. I'm backing off from people and screaming.
Yes.
No, stay away.
Yes.
No.
So they come get me to try to talk to him, and so then of course he's as if he knows who I am. So I just whispered in his ear, and I said, they're making me leave, so I have to go now. And so and that was it. We said goodbye, and I was taken. They took me to the airport. But then as soon as we got to the airport, I was with the other people that got arrested with us, which was our security team and the photographer that was with us. So I was with the 2 Americans that were going back to America, and they dropped them, and a phone call came in and said, okay, bring her back because he has to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So they brought me back, and I met him at the hospital, and that's where they were trying to get me to separate from him so that they could, I'm assuming, steal the money or figure out something to just have him separated.
Yeah, because by then,
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
How did I get the money on my? No, I didn't have my money on the person that's
no,
I didn't have the money. My lawyers had all the money. Okay. So now, the lawyers had the cash now, right? However, I let them know right up front. Said, listen, I've been around the block. So if you treat me fairly, I'll treat you fairly. If you fuck me, I'll fuck you. Are we clear?
Yeah.
So, that was our arrangement the second time we spoke. Not the first time I said you're my lawyer, but just, please, before we start, let me tell you. So I knew they wouldn't fuck me. But that was just the money. So anyway, they do take me to the hospital. Janice does come. They ran all these tests on me, could find nothing wrong. And I'm thinking the lawyer said 2 hours, and I'm watching my watch, and I swear to God, almost on the dot of 2 hours, here come the lawyers into the hospital, waving paper. It's going, you may not send Mr. Mcafee to America until he's had his day in court. Pardon?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes, wait. So, then the world changed because
really nice
they had arrested us illegally. We had on film, they filmed it themselves, and others were filming it that we knew. Where we kept saying, we want to go to customs. We want to declare what we have legally. After we've gone through, arrest me. You can't arrest me before I get into your country.
Yeah.
And you're on my boat illegally.
Yeah.
So in any case, that was how it started. And had it gone to court, it would have been an international disgrace for the Dominican Republic and the U.S.
So what? What happened in the end?
Okay, so what happened then is we had spent. Go ahead.
Yes.
We had spent the night before in a jail with no windows, just rusted iron bars, no glass.
Lots of mosquitoes.
Rusted iron bars, mosquitoes.
It looked like an old junkyard.
It did. It was horrific. I've been in a lot of jails.
It wasn't,
I think
I
one of my
wouldn't even
worst.
call it a jail because the men were housed. They were housed in what looked like an old barn shed or whatever.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Looked like a barn shed where they would keep livestock or something. But
yes, it was unpleasant to say the least. Anyway, that's aside. So we went from that.
Yes.
They bought our tickets out of town. I said, where do you want to go, Miss Macri? I said, England. I said, yes, okay. You're going to England. They took us. They gave us a military escort where they had a colonel in the van with us or behind us or somewhere, into the VIP lounge of the Santo Domingo International Airport, where heads of state are greeted.
Yes.
And we were served with people dressed formally, champagne and whatever we fucking wanted. Now, from the night before, listen, people, you think you know what life has in store for you. I promise you, you don't. In 24 hours, we went from a place with nothing, a concrete cell, a concrete fucking floor, no goddamn glass, no air conditioning, 110-degree heat, mosquitoes so thick you would lick them out of the air, to the VIP lounge. The VIP lounge is being served by formally clad waiters and accompanied by a colonel of the Dominican Republic Army, making sure that nothing happened to us until
and that was basically because you're really good at pretending to have a heart attack.
That's only the second I've done. I don't think it'll work again. I did one in Guatemala. All right, that's how I avoided being deported. I needed my lawyers again. Needed it.
Sometimes.
When I said, No, they actually needed more time, but that was fine.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, maybe you have to come up with another idea. Hey, listen, we're way over schedule, and it's worth every single.
Oh,
sorry.
Jesus.
No,
we are way, Mama.
No, it doesn't matter. Hey, listen, Janice, it's nice to see you, Janice.
He said, nice to see you, baby.
It was nice seeing you too. Maybe we'll be able to see you again. And
I would love that. Thanks for setting it up. I really appreciate it.
Of course, you're very welcome.
Stay safe. Fabulous, John. Hey, listen. So we're over. Maybe just some final words from you. What you next? What are you going to do next? What's up? How are you feeling?
Well, the Mcafee Dex, which has been in beta for 4 months now, almost 5, is coming along slower than we thought, but coming.
Okay.
And we'll be adding Bitcoin in a few days. We'll be adding the Ghost coin, which can be exchanged on the Mcafee exchange.
Okay.
Let's see, what else are we adding? Seems like a whole bunch of stuff. So the Mcafee Dex is one of the things. My presidential campaign probably takes the rest of my time.
Are you still doing that? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You bet. In fact, in 2016, that was my first run on the Libertarian Party, and I came in third.
Yeah.
Third.
Yeah.
Out of a range of 25 seasoned Libertarian politicians.
No,
I think this time I might get the nomination, which would be so much fun.
It would be. Hey, listen, man. I've got a lot of time for you. You know that. It's been always good to hang.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Stay safe, my friend, and I hope to see you soon.
All right.
See you, John. Bye.
All right.